Ladies and gentlemen, looks like Shin Kamen Rider has just been revealed to the whole world. To those who don't know, Shin Kamen Rider just concluded its press conference just about an hour ago from when I'm recording this. And you can tell I did not really prepare for this because I was just hyperventilating of what we got. So to those who don't know what Shin Kamen Rider is, it's basically part of this Shin trilogy that Hideaki Anno is making. So there's Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, and then Shin Kamen Rider. Basically the three titans of Tokusatsu. Tokusatsu being Japanese for special effects. And what got me excited because the only look we had for Shin Kamen Rider was one was the paper lantern logo and the other one was just the concept art. And that's it. That's it. That's all they showed us and nothing else until the press conference happened. I'm legit just searching this up right now because I'm just so hyperventilating. We'll get into the sweet spots. And it shows here Shin Kamen Rider prologue, which is not what I'm looking for. For context, there's another Shin Kamen Rider, which is this 1992 thriller which depicts Kamen Rider as this gross man-made creature. You know, instead of transforming with the belt, he literally turns into this abomination. So there will be confusion if you search for Shin Kamen Rider. You might get the 1992 one and the one that will happen in 2023. They revealed the cast of characters that will be playing in Shin Kamen Rider, and here are their names and the characters they play. Assuming that the protagonist is obviously Takeshi Hongo, which makes him the third actor to play Takeshi Hongo. One is the original Hiroshi Fujioka, one is this guy from the first and the next reboot movies, and the one for Shin Kamen Rider. And what thrills me is that we get to see what Shin Kamen Rider looks and the Cyclone. We finally get to see the updated version of the Cyclone, which looks so good. Instead of one headlight, it doesn't look like a motorcycle with a body kit on it. It's not like that anymore. It literally looks like its own thing that can be sold in stores for a limited edition thing, and I'm really on board with it. So as far as the Cyclone goes, it still keeps the red and white aesthetic, but of course with the updated logo that was drawn by Hideaki Anno in this event. It also contains the three mufflers that are on the end of it, but instead of straight like the original, it's now like this. It's spread out like wings. And it also has 4 headlights, which just makes it all so cool. And to be honest, I just love how slim the bike actually is. Not gonna lie, I love the Cyclone in the first and the next movies. That looks like a legit motorcycle. But what I like about what Hideaki Anno did here was that he made that motorcycle his own. He made the Cyclone of how he wants it, how he visualizes it. And that's what interests me, is that the Cyclone doesn't really look faithful to the original. I think the reboot movies actually has the original Cyclone for Kamen Rider 1 more faithful to the original than the reiteration as we see in Hideaki Anno's movie. And next, the one I'm most excited about is the suit. It's the same familiar Ichigo suit with updated detail. I'll be honest, when it comes to redesigns, I feel like the first and the next. Look, I'll be comparing this to the first and the next because they're technically reboot movies. Shin Kamen Rider, I think, is it's a story in of its own, but it pays tribute to the original. Because as you know, Shin means true, God, and all that. So it's pretty much this is the real thing. This is what it was meant to be. Or maybe not. But looking at the suit that was revealed, one thing I find odd is that Takeshi Hongo is either straight hair. They really cannot imitate the curly hair that Hiroshi Fujioka had when he was performing as Takeshi Hongo. This guy, he's quite close. He's quite close to that curliness, but nothing beats Fujioka's curly hair back when he performed as Hongo. And another one is that classic muffler. And the muffler is still simple. It's not tattered or anything. It's not detailed. It's literally just wrapped around. And it has a very simplistic shape to it. But when the colors, this is where it becomes a bit different because This looks like the reboot movie shade of blue. I don't know if it's the first or the next. I think it's the first, because if I can remember, the next uses the Sakurajima version of the suit. And what I like about it is that it looks classic, but then you look closer, then you realize that it's actually different. Like the shape of the chest area, it's different. It's not like the circular ones you'll find in the original suit, no. And it's not like those stacked ones you'll find in the first and the next. It reminds me of a fan art. I don't know what that is, but it did remind me of a fan art when I first saw it. Okay, now looking at the helmet here, it does keep the pinkish eyes of the original. The outer mandibles of the mask, the upper part of the mask, seems to be separated and has a little bit more detail. And it's not like the original where it's just zigzag lines. This one actually has a bit more shape to it. But it won't be really obvious unless you really look at it. Oh, it has no stripe. No, that's one thing I know. Wow. Dude has no stripes. What? I guess it lost out on the stripes. Like, it doesn't have the stripe that the original had. Wait, did the original have stripes? I think it's the new one that had stripes, but I don't think this one had. So yeah, I guess I'll let it pass. If we talk about like the context of Kamen Rider, this one's more like the original suit type instead of like what it would look like if it were actually a cyborg, because the context of Kamen Rider is that Takeshi Hongo is a cyborg. The whole thing that he's wearing when he becomes a Kamen Rider is cyborg armor. But this one really stuck to what the original had, you know, like the low budget charm, as I would say. The arms look okay. I mean, it's simple, like there's nothing much else there. And I noticed that the fist has like that segmented like pieces per finger and on the palm, similar to the one on Go On. But yeah, like apart from that, the undersuit is still a leather jacket. There's no denying that one. But when it comes to undersuits, like my personal favorite is the Go On's one, because they look more modern and then they look more like the, you know, like the superhero suits we see today. It has like this type of design language that feels so familiar but different. Like if you look at Marvel characters, Captain America was the first one that I noticed this, that he looks familiar. Unless you really look closely, then you'll see the redesigned elements, which I really love. I love redesigning characters. Oh boy. And here's my favorite part. It's the belt, the Typhoon, baby. One, I'm glad they went with the turbine design. I don't know if the original was supposed to be like that, but they didn't have the budget. I'm glad that the fan on the Typhoon really looks like a turbine. I love it. And instead of the jewelry that you see, it has these slits like metal plating. And the white belt actually has some detail too. Oh my god. It's not just a white strap. There is like some detail too. Of course, like if you see the whole shape of the Typhoon, there's also some redesign elements, which I really love. This will be hard to design in Blender if I were to be honest. This will be difficult to design in Blender. Oh my god. I don't know who this girl is though. If anyone knows what character she represents in the film, if the character has been in the original as well, and it's not just, you know, like maybe it's a new character, maybe I'm wrong. But to those who can understand the press conference, please let me know in the comments below. But wait, there's another thing that was revealed in the press conference. The recreation of the opening of the original Kamen Rider as promo for Shin Kamen Rider. That will be for the next video and we'll break it down. I'll see you in the next video.